Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
I'm tracking our next weather maker that could become something tropical. I'll show you when it brings us a decent chance for rain coming up.
And get prepared. Duke Energy shows off upgrades to its operation before tropical weather hits.
Pushing for change to state vaping laws, how lawmakers hope to reduce addiction among young people.
It is just the third day of the Atlantic hurricane season, and we are tracking the tropics, a system that is likely to develop off our coast in the next few days. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. WRAL's Heidi Kirk is live at the Duke Energy Power Distribution Center with a look at upgrades to their system.
Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth, though, is on the WRAL weather patio to tell us how this could impact us here and along our coast. Amy.
That's right. It's looking to bring us a decent chance for rain and storms by the time we get to Thursday, and the rip current risk will increase along the coast starting Thursday as well and continue through the weekend. Now, this is a system that's likely to form in the southeastern part of the country in the next 24 to 36 hours or so. It hasn't yet fully developed. We'll continue to watch every model run that comes in. As of now, the National Hurricane Center has this at a 10% chance of becoming something tropical. When you look at the European model, it shows about a 50% chance of becoming a tropical depression. So here's what we're looking at, a 10% chance of developing per the National Hurricane Center. We'll have rain and storms here starting Thursday, and then the rip currents, that's going to start to become a little bit more dangerous along our coast by the time we get to Thursday as well. Now, there's a limited window that it could be over the Atlantic, and in fact, a lot of the models are shifting west with this and keeping it over land for a lot longer period of time, and that just means that we'll have higher rain chances here locally. We do have some limits to this becoming anything tropical, and that's mainly some dry air from some Saharan dust. We're going to take a closer look at the hour-by-hour rain forecast with Futurecast coming up in just a bit. But check out those rain chances. A 50% chance for scattered storms Thursday. We're considering a weather alert day. We're considering bumping that to a higher number as well. As it continues to look like it's shifting a little bit to the west, our rain chances are likely going to go up. And then Saturday, we have another round of rain, but that's not from the tropical system or the low pressure system. That's from a cold front that will swing through. So enjoy today. Lots of sunshine out here right now. A good day for outdoor lunch. It's warm, but we have low humidity. Right now we're sitting at 80 degrees.
We'll make the most of today's weather. Amy, thank you. Duke Energy is ready for the 2025 tropical storm season. This morning, WRAL got an update on the preparations as well as the technologies being used to restore power during storms. WRAL's Heidi Kirk is live at the Distribution Control Center. And Heidi, where you're standing is really the heartbeat of Duke Energy's operations.
Renee, that's certainly one way to put it. This is where all of the action happens. Take a look over this way. It's all of these hardworking people over here that can restore those outages. And there are two centers just like this all across the state. And they actually say that most of the outages can be solved from right here in this room. Now, go ahead and take a look at your screens. You're going to see some footage from some of those previous storms that are front of mind from last year, Hurricane Helene and Tropical Storm Debbie that are front of mind. Of course, in preparations this year, Duke Energy has made grid improvements, upgraded poles and wires, and is using technology to improve their response going forward. Now, one of the biggest assets they rely on is called self-healing technology. We've talked about that in the past. It can automatically detect power outages and quickly reroute power to restore service faster or avoid that outage altogether. Now, this has been around for about 5 years and has already assisted them in previous storms.
Self-healing technology can actually help to reduce the number of customers that are affected by an outage by as much as 75% and can often restore power in less than a minute. It doesn't take the tree off the line, that still has to be repaired by crews, but it can significantly reduce the number of customers that are affected by that outage.
Now, here's the good news. They're constantly evolving this technology, making it better year after year to make sure that they can improve their response. They also say that they're working with things like drones and satellites going forward to make sure that they can improve this in the years to come. Of course, we're going to be continuing to look into these improvements and bring you the latest as they come. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Garner.
Be sure to download the new WRAL weather app and plan ahead for severe weather anytime. It's free wherever you download your apps. The WRAL weather app allows you to watch radar in real time to see when storms are in your area. Turn on alerts to get notified about severe weather in your location. And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, a Siler City pastor has been arrested on child pornography charges. This is him here, 57-year-old Nelson Alexander Che. He is accused of sending material through an app called Kick. He is a pastor at Casa de Dios in Siler City, and police say because he worked in the church, he had access to juveniles, and there might be more potential victims that have yet to come forward. Authorities did search his home last Thursday. They seized multiple electronic devices with the child pornography on them. He is charged with 10 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. Additional charges are possible.
Thanks, Michelle. Also new at noon, North Carolina lawmakers want to cut down on the number of young people using vape and tobacco products. They say this is an issue across the state and kids are becoming addicted to them. WRAL's Noah Klein is here now with what they want to change and how they plan to do it. Noah.
Jeff, the latest numbers here from the state show 1 out of 8 high school students vape. This new legislation aims to make it harder for young people to buy those vape and tobacco products. Lawmakers came out today urging colleagues to support moving forward with this discussion. They point out it hasn't even had a hearing yet. According to the CDC, North Carolina has the 6th highest number of young people who vape in the country. Advocates want to change that. They want to raise that age up from 18 to 21. North Carolina right now, it's just a handful of states, one of just a handful of states where that's already not the case. The change would bring North Carolina in line with federal law. One of the advocates we heard from this morning is Charlene Zorn. Her son, Solomon Thomas, died after using vape products. We covered his death and his mother's push for change extensively in our WRAL documentary, Gen V, Teen Vaping in North Carolina. Zorn says these products can completely change a young person.
So in 3 months, he went from being an active kid who rode his bike, played video games, played football, to a kid who couldn't walk to the bus stop, who collapsed at home, was on a ventilator for 36 hours, and we had to make the worst decision ever. We had to choose to take our child off the ventilator.
State lawmakers here, they also want to put in place a tobacco retail sales permit. That would be used to essentially help keep track of who exactly is selling these vapes. WRAL's Carly Haynes is taking a larger look at this legislation today. She's focusing in on the changes it would bring and how it could actually become law. Look for her reports beginning in our news at 4.
Noah, thanks. You mentioned that documentary. Here's where folks can watch it. Gen V, Teen Vaping in North Carolina on WRAL.com. It is in the documentary section.
The herbal substance kratom could become harder to get under a proposal in a key House committee today. Some say the psychoactive substance can help people fight opioid addiction. Others say the drug can be harmful or even deadly. Kratom is available in many gas stations and convenience stores in the state. The proposal would not make it an illegal substance, but it would limit its sale to people 21 and over. It would also require retailers to pay for a license to sell kratom, which would likely make it less attractive to sell in many stores. The proposal could get a vote in the State House later this week.
Raleigh police are investigating a serious crash on New Bern Avenue, just blocks away from Wake Med, Raleigh. This is Sky 5 video over New Bern Avenue at the Ferris Court intersection. This happened right near the Alamo Draft House. You see a wrecked motorcycle there in the grassy median and a dump truck off to the shoulder. No word on the condition of the rider or the driver of that dump truck.
Raleigh City Council is hosting a public hearing tonight to discuss the proposed budget. Last month, the city put forth a $1.78 billion proposal that included pay raises for city employees, including an 11% pay raise for police and firefighters. The budget would also keep the current property tax rate the same. Tonight's meeting will be held at the Raleigh Municipal Building on West Target Street at 7. Tonight, Durham's mayor will announce which local nonprofits will get part of a $300,000 grant to put a stop to youth violence. It is called Bull City Future Fund. It's an effort to keep teens out of trouble. Now, according to the Durham first quarter crime report, crimes committed by young people have doubled compared to this time last year. Durham Mayor Leonardo Williams launched the Bull City Future Fund back in August to put a stop to youth violence by providing more funding to youth organizations. The announcement takes place at the Bull at CCB Plaza at 6 tonight.
State employees and their families might not see their bills rise quite as much as they thought. The state health plan will soon raise health care costs on all 750,000 customers. Last month, WRAL reported many could have to pay an extra $20 to $50 a month for health insurance premiums. This morning, State Treasurer Brad Briner said he found savings elsewhere. So now premiums might go up just $5 per month, at least for workers on the lower end of the pay scale. A vote on the new state health plan costs is expected in August. And we take a look at the stock market right now. You see early on today, second day of trading this week, Dow Jones Industrial Average spent some time in negative territory. It's made a pretty nice rebound from mid-morning. It is up 126 points right now.
The Trump administration is backing off a plan for now to garnish Social Security checks for borrowers in default. The development is an abrupt change in policy introduced in April by the White House. The administration says it would resume collection activity on more than 450,000 student loans as early as June. The administration's reprieve gives older student borrowers who've defaulted on their debt more time to try to get current. Tomorrow, the soccer tournament kicks off in Cary with teams from around the world chasing a $1 million prize. Two local teams want to keep the tournament right here. Tobacco Road FC wants to use this platform and prize money to help grow the game in Durham. The Raleigh Rebels hope to keep the prize here in the 919. The TST, as it's called, begins tomorrow and runs through the 9th at WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary.
Next at noon, a hate crime confession, what the Boulder, Colorado firebomber told police after he was arrested.
Also, the grandmother of Juneteenth, how Opal Lee plans to celebrate the holiday she helped create.
Plus, Crown Center updates. What's included in the latest talk to get construction of the event center back on track?
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
Following breaking news this noon, Wake Forest University's baseball coach is apologizing after he was caught on camera during the broadcast appearing to use a homophobic slur during the team's regional game last night. Just after 11 this morning, Coach Walter issued a statement saying, quote, "I am very sorry for my outburst in frustration last night, and I recognize the hurt and disappointment it has caused. I have seen the videos, and while I do not remember the specific moment clearly, that language doesn't reflect my values or the standards of this program." The director of athletics says he spoke to Walter immediately after the game and again this morning to address what happened. He called the remarks completely out of character and said they do not meet the standards of the athletics program. Walter said he owns the consequences. The university's statement did not say what, if any, consequences he faces.
Shocking new video captures the moment authorities say Mohammed Solomon attacked a group of people in Boulder, Colorado. He's now charged with a federal hate crime and multiple counts of attempted first-degree murder. NBC's Morgan Chesky shares new information he uncovered from court documents.
Here in Boulder, you can see flowers now replace crime scene tape where the site of this violent attack took place Sunday. And in 24 hours, we've not only learned the sole person authorities say is responsible, but also disturbing new details as to how authorities say Mohammed Solomon, a 45-year-old Egyptian national, planned and then executed this violent attack on rally-goers that showed up to this popular outdoor mall every Sunday to show support for the Israeli hostages still being held in Gaza. He had a chance to speak to authorities who say that Solomon admitted that he would do this attack again if he could and that he wanted to kill all Zionists, adding that he sought out this group specifically for their pro-Israel viewpoints and planned this attack over the past year, leaving a phone and a journal behind in his Colorado Springs home before making the trip to Boulder on Sunday, where he purchased the tools he would later turn into violent weapons. He also added that he sprayed himself with gasoline, admitting to authorities that he planned on taking his own life as part of this attack. That, of course, did not happen. He is due back in court on Thursday. He's already been charged with a federal hate crime and a litany of state charges as well. No word from him publicly. Only what we're learning now is through court documents. However, we do anticipate to hear from authorities later today. We'll send it back to you.
That was Morgan Chesky reporting. If convicted on all 16 counts of attempted murder in the first degree, Solomon could face 384 years in state prison.
Opal Lee, the woman known as the grandmother of Juneteenth, is out of the hospital after a brief stay. She earned that moniker for her efforts to turn the day commemorating the end of slavery into a national holiday. Miss Lee traveled to Cincinnati, where she received the International Freedom Conductors Award. It recognizes people who reflect the spirit and courageous actions of conductors on the historic Underground Railroad. Miss Lee spent a few days in Ohio in a hospital there and is expected to return to Fort Worth, Texas to kick off a Juneteenth prayer breakfast Saturday.
Governor Josh Stein says Western North Carolina needs visitors this summer. Stein told late-night host Stephen Colbert the region's economy depends on tourism, but visits plummeted after Helene last fall. This morning, Stein was back in Raleigh, and he said he was glad for the opportunity to make his tourism pitch to the whole country on The Colbert Show.
Western North Carolina is open for business, and the best way you can help now is to have a great time. And that's not a hard sell, because everyone knows that if you go to Western North Carolina, you will have a great time.
Tourism dollars won't be the only kind of help on the way. Stein and the state legislature are also at work on a new Helene relief package. It will have hundreds of millions of dollars in state aid. Well, right now we're enjoying a little relief from rain, but it will be back in the forecast. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is tracking our next weather maker.
That is right. The odds are increasing for us to have a decent chance for rain on Thursday, and it's all because of this low pressure system that might become tropical. But right now, the National Hurricane Center has the odds at just 10%. It really doesn't matter if it becomes tropical or not. Our impacts will be the same. You'll need the rain gear on Thursday for sure. Right now, we're going with a 50% chance for scattered showers and storms. This is a look at the European model data and the potential that it could become a tropical depression, and it's going with a 50% chance that we could have a tropical depression in this region here along the North Carolina coast. That's where the 50% chance region is. So the odds are increasing that we're going to have some impacts here locally Thursday. We started noticing this trend of a westward shift of this low pressure system, and that's going to bump up our rain chances. We started noticing that last night. I was talking to Mike Mays earlier today about that, and that trend continues today. So here's midnight Thursday morning, and notice how the rain just kind of creeps up to the north as we progress into the morning hours. This is 6 a.m., so scattered showers and storms possible Thursday morning, and for the morning commute, we'll have scattered showers and storms as well. So if you're new to the area with these kind of low pressure systems, sometimes tropical, sometimes not, we get bands of rain and storms that will move through, and that's what's likely to happen Thursday. So we'll have some breaks, but we'll have some periods of some pockets of heavy rain as well. Lunchtime, numerous showers and thunderstorms around on Thursday, and then as we head into the evening, scattered showers and storms will be possible as well. We are considering a weather alert day for Thursday. We're waiting to look at the afternoon model runs to make sure that this trend holds. So we might have to issue an alert day, and it certainly looks like our rain chances are going to continue to increase. And as of now, we have a flooding risk for the southeastern half of our viewing area. It's on the low end of the scale, and coming up in the next half hour, we'll take a look at some of those town by town potential rainfall totals, but it does look like the heaviest rain will be closer to the coast. Now, one of the limiting factors is some dust coming off of the Saharan, off of the coast of Africa. And this is some dry air in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, which tends to limit tropical development, but it still doesn't limit our chance for rain. It still looks like a pretty good chance on Thursday. Glad to have this camera back up and running. Live look at Fenton and Cary. The sun is shining. It's a pretty day, but it's warm. 81 degrees right now already in Raleigh, 80 in Rocky Mount, 80 in Fayetteville. We're anywhere from about 5 to 7 degrees warmer right now compared to this time yesterday. So it's warm, but at least the humidity is still low. The dew points are still not bad, 54, which puts us in the comfy category. It felt pretty nice earlier on the weather patio outside. It was getting warm, though. Our high temperature likely up to about 86. We'll be back down into the 70s by around 8 o'clock tonight. So today, tomorrow, quiet days. Storms likely Thursday, and then we'll have another chance for storms as we head into Saturday with high heat. Highs back in the 90s by Friday and Saturday.
Amy, thanks. Town shakeup. A town commissioner is the most recent of several Zebulon leaders to quit in recent months. Today on WRAL News at 4, how the mayor plans to regain community trust.
And unregulated drugs. Lawmakers are set to discuss a bill that would tighten restrictions on gas station stimulants. Today on WRAL News at 5, where the drug originates and the dangers it could cause. Plus, still ahead this noon, too much tax. A viewer had a question about their car tax, and 5 on your side crunched the numbers. A closer look at whether the state is charging more than it should.
And a big turnaround for Big Lots. Nearly 80 stores will reopen tomorrow across the country. How many in North Carolina will welcome back customers after the break? Happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts subscription sales have fallen this year about 36% or $1.6 million compared to last year. By this point last year, the center had generated about $4.4 million in revenue from theater, dance, classical, and other seasons of performances. So far this year, as of June 1st, it has generated $2.6 million. President Trump took control of the Kennedy Center back in February. The center's senior vice president of marketing said the comparison is not accurate because of several factors. She says we strategically launched later this year versus last year. Our renewal campaign is just kicking off.
Someone recently asked 5 on your side if the state was overcharging them for taxes on their car. Keely Arthur ran the numbers to find out.
The higher the value of the car, the higher the tax bill. And one viewer reached out to 5 on your side after he said the state was overvaluing his car and thus he was paying more in taxes. Of course, we had to do our own experiment with a car that is completely unrelated. This car was purchased for $17,000 more than a year ago. Now the state thinks it's worth $20,000. And we asked the Wake County Tax Office where that figure came from.
We do have a statewide system that compiles sales data from across North Carolina, and it's based on the year, make, and model of each vehicle to ensure fairness and equity.
But it's more than just sales data used to come up with those numbers. Tonight on WRAL News, I'm digging deeper into the factors that determine your vehicle tax and show you how you can appeal if you think you're being overcharged. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
After recently opening dozens of stores in May, Big Lots is making an even bigger comeback. The discount retail chain announced more than 70 additional stores will open on Thursday. The openings are in 9 states, including 22 stores in North Carolina. Big Lots filed for bankruptcy last year and had to close dozens of stores. Variety wholesalers acquired many of the chain's stores late last year.
Crown Center construction costs. After years of trying to get the project off the ground, the Crown Event Center hit a bump in the road when the public could learn the fate of the meeting venue.
Edible sunscreen. A growing trend has people consuming their sun protection instead of slathering it on their body. We'll explain if it's safe and whether it protects your skin. But first, here's a look at the winning lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number 1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
We could find out tomorrow what's next for the Crown Event Center in Fayetteville. Right now, construction is stalled on the $145 million project. WRAL's Ken Smith joins us now with what county commissioners will be discussing tomorrow. Ken.
Yeah, Renee, this is a special called meeting to specifically discuss the Crown Center construction. This week, county commissioners got an update on construction and other related costs associated with that project. Fayetteville broke ground on the new Crown Event Center back in October last year, 27 years after the old Crown Coliseum complex opened to the public. The new construction was put on hold, though, until county leaders determined this was a good economic move. Board Chair Kirk DeVere says because of the amount of taxpayer money involved, it's important this process be as transparent as possible.
We will do as much of that in open session as we can, unless there's a point that we have some attorney-client privileges or concerns that our attorney. But my goal is to have as much dialogue as we can in front of the public, because this is a public matter of over $145 million.
Well, the board plans to go over the new reports and work with the staff to answer any questions about this multi-million-dollar project moving forward. Now, the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners plans to meet tomorrow at 4 in the afternoon in the meeting room in the county courthouse. This project probably won't be completed until 2027. Count on WRAL for updates on air and online.
The cost of your kids' lunch at school could be going up in Wake County again. District leaders will review the possible price hike today. WRAL's Laura Levine explains what's behind the new possible increase and how it will affect families.
The school board has raised prices for meals the past 3 years in a row. So now let's take a look at where things stand. For elementary school, lunch is $3.50, and for middle and high school student lunches, well, that's about $3.75. So here today, district leaders aren't proposing a specific cost increase, but they're warning of a possible revenue shortfall. The district's Child Nutrition Services Department has for years struggled to break even and projected a potential $3 million shortfall in revenue last year. Officials have blamed ongoing financial challenges on rising supply costs, rising wages, insufficient federal reimbursements, plus declining rates of families actually buying meals at school.
The school district has struggled in recent years with having enough revenues to offset the costs in their school nutrition department. It's worth remembering that these departments are kind of operated independently, a little bit more like restaurants. You know, they can't run a deficit.
School leaders here today at this work session will take a look at 9 different revenue scenarios, which also includes possibly a 10-cent per meal increase. That would generate about $229,000, and a 25-cent per meal increase, which could generate $555,000. That work session begins at 2:30 p.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Cary.
The first ever cell phone policy for Wake County schools is up for a final board vote tonight. The proposal would require phones to be silenced and put away, and smartwatches to be disconnected from smartphones. There would be some exceptions for students with certain health needs and emergencies, and a few other scenarios. It would go into effect next school year. You can find out more about what is in this proposed policy at the education section of WRAL.com.
In about an hour, North Carolina lawmakers plan to debate repealing the state's concealed carry requirements. Most Republican-led states have already gotten rid of concealed carry, leaving North Carolina as an outlier. Under the proposal up for debate today, almost anyone could legally carry a concealed gun as long as they are 18 or older. No training or background checks would be required anymore. Some law enforcement leaders oppose the idea. So do most Democratic politicians. But GOP leaders in the state legislature see this as a priority. Towing companies could soon face new oversight to make sure they're not preying on local drivers. Today, a state House committee plans to debate the new rules. Towing companies could be banned from operating if they break the rules. The proposed state towing commission would also set the rates towing companies could charge. Last year, WRAL Investigates reported on a series of complaints about alleged predatory practices by some towing companies in our area. A similar version of this bill was also filed last year following those reports.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, Newark, New Jersey, Mayor Ross Baraka is suing New Jersey's top federal prosecutor over his arrest at a federal immigration detention facility last month. The lawsuit is against U.S. Interim Attorney Alina Habba. The lawsuit seeks damages for false arrest and malicious prosecution. He also accuses Habba of defamation for comments that she made about his case. The episode happened outside the Delaney Hall Federal Immigration Detention Center back on May 9th. Baraka tried to join 3 Democratic members of Congress who went to the facility for an oversight tour. He was denied entry. Habba said Baraka committed trespass, but the lawsuit says there was clear evidence that Mayor Baraka did not trespass. Habba did end up dropping that trespass charge.
The town of Zebulon is looking for a new town commissioner. Commissioner Beverly Clark announced her resignation last night after 24 years of service. People in Zebulon recently started a petition that calls on half of the Board of Commissioners to resign. Clark says she signed that petition as well. In an interview with WRAL, Clark says she's unhappy with how the board is working together and believes it's time for new leadership.
It's the way we're working, the way we're handling motions or putting things on hold and not getting through a lot.
Clark is not the first to step down in recent months. Earlier this year, the town manager and assistant town manager both handed in their resignations just days apart.
Don't feel guilty drinking your cup of joe. What new research says a few cups of coffee a day can do for your health.
Struck by lightning, a group in Texas describes how their fun lake trip turned into a scary situation. Remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device.
The Trump administration is ending a large amount of HIV vaccine research, saying current approaches are enough to counter the virus. The cuts will shutter 2 major HIV vaccine research efforts, including one at the Duke Human Vaccine Institute. Researchers were told that the Department of Health and Human Services had elected to go with currently available approaches to eliminate HIV instead. Drinking coffee regularly could help middle-aged women live longer and healthier. A study looked at women in their 50s who drank 1 to 3 cups of caffeinated coffee a day. It found they were more likely to reach older age. Look at this beautiful view. We are in for a beautiful afternoon with highs in the mid-afternoon as we look live from the WRAL Garner Tower. Not a cloud in the sky and lots of sunshine. You're watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
3 people are being treated for injuries after a plane crashed several miles off the coast of Florida. This happened Saturday night, approximately 4 miles east of Vero Beach Airport. Using night vision goggles, you can see the crews spotted 2 of the survivors in the water and guided rescue boats to the scene. A third was found a short time later. Several agencies took part in that rescue, saying the lack of a debris field made it difficult to locate the trio. The NTSB and FAA are investigating the crash. A 64-year-old man is being treated for injuries after driving his pickup truck into a building in Baltimore. The impact of that crash caused the building to collapse onto the vehicle. It happened around 8:30 last night. It's not clear if the driver had a medical emergency. A man who lives nearby helped to pull that driver out of the vehicle. No one was inside the building at the time of the crash.
A trip to a Texas lake nearly ended in tragedy. 2 children and 2 adults are expected to recover after a lightning strike. They were taking cover under a canopy as a severe storm rolled in, and suddenly they were knocked to the ground, confused and unconscious. Alicia Barrera spoke with one of the adults who says God gave them another chance.
Just to get back on my feet, I thought it was some type of gunshot or something. And then I realized, okay, I started seeing everyone just kind of laying and trying to recover.
From his hospital bed at JPS in Fort Worth, Juan Reyes recalls how a fun trip to Benbrook Lake on Sunday with a group of more than 12 friends resulted in a terrifying moment.
We heard a strike or thunder. I saw this ball of fire and smoke, and it just threw me back unconscious.
The Crescent Volunteer Fire Department confirmed lightning struck this corner of Reyes' canopy, also affecting this tree located just a few feet away from the group.
There's some swelling in right hand forearm, which is the hand that I was holding the canopy with.
Reyes says another adult male and 2 minors were injured and taken to the hospital, but are expected to recover.
It's just one of those moments that makes you, appreciate life.
Storms also brought significant hail. From the air over a car dealership in Hudson Oaks, you can see vehicles damaged. The hail ranging from golf size to tennis ball, leaving a clear mark. No injuries were reported according to the dealership. And in Everman, multiple cars also damaged, some drivers covering the busted windows, as storm chances are on the forecast for later this week.
My goodness, baseball-sized hail. That was Alicia Barrera. So what can you do to avoid a lightning strike? Remember the phrase, when thunder roars, go indoors. Seek shelter immediately. Enclosed buildings are the safest place. Don't rely on trees for protection. Tall, isolated trees are more likely to be struck. Don't lie flat on the ground because lightning can travel through the ground. And stay away from open spaces such as parks, ponds, and beaches. Finally, wait at least 30 minutes after the storm to resume outdoor activities. But your cue there, you hear thunder, get to a safe space.
Yeah, and I never knew that. Elizabeth Gardner taught me that, and I know Amy Wilmoth would back it up. When you hear thunder, that means there is lightning in the area somewhere. So take cover.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of scary because we have so many cameras in our camera network, and sometimes I'll see a storm coming and see people outside maybe playing golf. I'm like, want to yell at them, go in. I know you're hearing the thunder. It's just dangerous. If you hear it, get inside. We don't have to worry about that today. We don't have to worry about that tomorrow, which is good. High pressure, the main weather feature. What we are going to watch is the potential for a tropical system to develop in this region in the next 24 to 36 hours. And it brings us the chance for storms by Thursday. So no storm worries today or tomorrow, but it's a 50% chance Thursday. We might bump that up on Thursday. It just looks like our rain chances are increasing at this point. A 20% chance Friday, and then a little bit unsettled over the weekend as a cold front arrives. Monday, a decent chance for storms, up to a 60% chance for storms. So let's talk about this system that may or may not become tropical in nature, but it will bring us some rain on Thursday. Here's where it could be as we head into Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the evening, starting to develop here. I have it kind of highlighted. This region here, you can see that counterclockwise circulation. That's the low, the center of circulation in South Carolina Thursday morning around 8 o'clock. But some of that rain entering our southern counties perhaps as early as the morning commute. And then it will slowly lift to the north and east. And by the time we get to Thursday evening, the center of circulation still to the south of us. So we'll have some storms, waves of rain and storms on and off throughout the entire day on Thursday. It won't rain all day, but we'll have waves of storms moving through. For the coast, one of the impacts will be some dangerous rip currents beginning Thursday, continuing Friday, and perhaps into the first half of the weekend as well. And then some heavy rain for the coast as well, anywhere from close to 2 inches of rain down to 3 inches of rain for our southern beaches. So some heavy rain there, but some heavy rain locally. Now this includes Thursday's rain, but it also includes the weekend rain and Monday's rain. So it's for the next 7 days. In our area, anywhere from about 1 inch to maybe 3 inches in the southeastern part of our viewing area. So it does look like we're going to get some heavy rain. We'll have some on Thursday and then some again over the weekend and early next week. This is a live look at RDU. It's sunny, but it does look like a little bit of a haze here. We still have a little bit of that wildfire smoke from Canada with us. It's not really bad today. Our air quality right now, I just checked, is good, but the forecast is to become moderate as we progress through the day. Not a huge deal, but it's just a reason why you're seeing a little bit of that haze out there. We've seen it the last couple of days, and we still have the chance to see some of that later today, this afternoon, this evening. So moderate air quality, the forecast today. We go back to good tomorrow, but we'll go back to moderate Thursday, although Thursday comes with some rain. Temperatures are warmer in the 70s and 80s. We have sunshine, but a little bit of haze out there. It's quiet today and tomorrow. Grab the rain gear for Thursday, and then hot and dry Friday, but we do have those storms in the forecast for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Thanks, Amy. Celebrating excellence here. We have heard of students making perfect scores on the ACT. It's rare, but it happens.
Now a high school in Chicago says the class of 2025 is raising the bar. The incredible number of students who made history. And now here's a look at your winning Powerball numbers. 1, 7, 44, 57, and 61. The Powerball is 21. The multiplier is 3.
We wrap things up with a look at a few of the headlines we're following for you today. Duke Energy is ready for the 2025 tropical storm season. This morning, WRAL got an update on grid improvements as well as self-healing technology. Duke Energy says 90% of the power outages can be solved here without even sending a crew out into the field. After last year's storms, Duke Energy has made grid improvements, upgraded poles and wires, and is using this technology to improve its response.
A Siler City pastor accused of possessing child pornography faces several charges, according to police. 57-year-old Nelson Che is charged with 10 counts of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. Investigators used a warrant to search his Siler City home, and they found electronic devices with child porn. Police say additional charges are expected.
Some lawmakers want to make it harder for young people to buy vape and tobacco products. They called for legislation to move forward that would raise the age to buy those products from 18 to 21. North Carolina is one of just a few states where that is not already the case. The change would put North Carolina in line with federal law.
23 students at a Chicago high school celebrated an impressive academic achievement. They all earned a perfect ACT score of 36. Less than 1% of students who take the ACT get a perfect score. Back in 2018, Whitney Young had 5 students scoring a perfect 36. That's the school. And the principal credits the school's culture of high expectations, comparing the 23 academic all-stars to the legendary Michael Jordan, who, of course, wore the number 23.
Just like MJ, our 23 didn't settle for average. Michael Jordan once said, "I've always believed that if you put in the work, the results will come." Today, you all are living proof of that.
Whitney Young Magnet High School is located about 3 minutes from the United Center in Chicago, where Michael Jordan played from August 1998 until he retired in 2003. Before the United Center was built, the former Tar Heel played at the Chicago Stadium between 1984 and 1998.
A trickster's tactics. A new survey reveals a surge in malicious text and voice scams across the country, with 96% of people getting at least one scam per week. That's our story at 4.
NBC News Daily is next. Have a great day, everybody.